I keep the lie live segment.
Keep the lie live.
Lie live. So this segment, I have to say this because I've seen something that was very disturbing, and it's becoming an ongoing process between men and women. Okay, keep your hands and your possessions to yourself. I was watching a podcast called the No Forgaze podcast or No Forgazy podcast, and the host, was on there doing his thing, and he had guests, and they happened to be women. One particular guest in particular, one guest in particular, they continued to have a back and forth. Um, so much to the point where now he's asking her, like, "Yo, you have to come off the show," and of course she's saying, "Oh, I'm not leaving. If I leave, everybody leave." Like, just belligerent to the point where she's trying to mess up the whole show because her and this host can't come to. They can't just have a conversation about just disagreeing and being able to listen to each other. So of course she tries to overtalk him, and to his credit, he didn't get out of pocket. He didn't get out of character. Then he had to put his foot down and say, "You know what? Like, shut up. Because I've been respecting you all this time. You're not showing me no respect. This is my show. You know what? It's just time for you to go." So of course she didn't want to go. He says, "Yo," he tells his people, "Call the cops and have the cops remove her. I'm not going to put my hands on her. You're not going to put your hands on her. No man, no woman is going to put their hands on her to remove her up out of here. We just deal with the cops." And then, of course, other people that was on the podcast was like, "Yo, come on, don't ruin the show," to the girl, not to the host, to the girl. The girl gets up. She tries to shake his hand, like, "Y'all want to shake your hand, blah, 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 blah." And she's talking crazy. She's still talking crazy. He's like, "No, I decline on shaking your hand. We not gonna end this off. You trying to kill my vibe, this, that, and the third." So what she does, she takes the water in her cup and throws the water in his face, and then she runs off, thinking that he was gonna retaliate. Right? He he did not retaliate. He was like, "All right, whatever." Got water all over his face, messed up his shirt. He's wet. Pause. And she leaves the show. And when she does it, she's like expecting him to, to react. Because she was a woman, she felt comfortable doing that shit. Let me not curse because we will get targeted for YouTube guidelines. But she felt comfortable doing that because, one, she's a woman. Two, she spoke on the fact that she has a boyfriend. And three, she spoke on the fact that she has a father that's prevalently in her life. But none of these men are there. She's around nothing but other women and a few other guys. So now, if he would have had a different response by punching her in the face, kicking her in the neck, or lifting her up and throwing her off her feet, he would have been wrong when she agitated the whole situation, not just by her words and being confrontational, but you assaulted him by taking water and throwing it in his face. That's assault. But he would have been wrong for putting hands on her. He would have been a B. He wouldn't have been a man. He wouldn't have all this. So where's her emotional intelligence? I thought we could have a conversation and agree to disagree, and you go your way and I go my way, and now just be that respect. That's human. That's human nature. Respect all in itself. Keep your hands to yourself. Now, had that been a man that did that to a woman, oh, he would have been a B. He would have been everything under the sun.
So far.
Now, had he would have had he did that and she put hands on him, And then, yo, keep your hands to yourself. That goes for both men and women, and women and women and women. Don't feel comfortable thinking you could do something to a man just because in society it's not polite to do something in retaliation to a woman if she assaults that man. Don't put yourself in the lion's den like that, because all men will not respond that way. I'm from New York City, and growing up, I've seen most men not respond that way. In New York City, the mentality is if you act like a man, you're going to get treated like a man. That's the mentality. And it's just funny how in nature everybody understand nature except some women. If I put myself in the lion's den and I get scratched and clawed and I lose my life, or I may survive, I'm looking at the lions like they bugging for me rolling up in the den like, yo, what's happening? Like, we don't know you. What you talking about what's happening? That's just pure nature. Keep your hands and your possessions to yourself. Do not put yourself in harm's way. Because most men, I don't want to say most, but some men will not respond that way. And some men do not care if you got a husband or a boyfriend or a father at home. Because guess what? Now it's war mode and they going to get it too. And most times when men get into it, it's over a woman. So very easily, he could have slapped her. Her boyfriend or her husband could have came back and said, yo, we got to run it. Now they get to it because of your foolishness, because you couldn't control your emotional intelligence. What do you think about that?
I mean, I get it. It's just it's all talk. Like a lot of this, none of it stands for anything. Because again, women make rules for those they're not attracted to, and break rules for those for those who they like. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's like for us men, you can't say you about something and then switch up later on. You know what I'm saying? Because like we really take your word for everything. You know what I'm saying? So if you saying a certain thing, you just can't be wishy-washy with it. Like that's why it's like the most simplest thing of like, what do you want to eat? It's a simple question, but it causes the most issues because they can't figure out the most simplest thing. Like, what do you want to eat?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then they'll be like, all right, whatever you want. So you say what you want to eat. Oh, I don't want that. Again, back to the same question. You know
What
what
do
I'm
you,
saying? So it's
yeah.
like you talk about all this emotional intelligence, you have all this intuition, and it's funny you have intuition when you could find you have intuition when a man is cheating, but you don't have no intuition when a man is down, when he's depressed, when he's feeling sad. It's very interesting when it's an intuition when it's benefiting you. Very interesting when it's chivalry when it's chivalry when it's benefiting you. You know what I'm saying? But when it's not benefiting you, all of a sudden, oh, it's a problem. When it's to reciprocate the energy, oh, it's an issue. It's like you y'all not making any sense with half the things y'all do. You know what I'm saying? So you want a certain thing, then you gotta put out certain energy to get it. If I want a certain thing, I gotta put out energy to go to get it. Like it just that's how it works. You know what I'm saying? It's not because you're a woman that we're supposed to do this for you. Like, nah, that era and that thought process is dead and it's never coming back. You know what I'm saying? So don't even try it. Like that's just over with. Like niggas is not dropping their coat, turning their other cheek. Niggas is not doing that goofy shit. Especially these young cats, they not jacking none of this. So y'all better figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
Keep your hands and your possessions to yourself. Don't say you have emotional intelligence. Show it. Because that took a lot of strength for that dude to even to not respond that way, to not take it there. And quite naturally, it's easy for a man not to respond that way. But all men are not the same. And that don't make them less of a man because they're not used to people throwing a damn drink in their face. That's completely out of pocket. And you're doing it because you're a woman. Because if a man do that to another man, it's on and popping. If a man in his emotion throw a drink on another man or in his face, he's already prepared that we about to get this, we about to get it scrapping, we about to get it popping. And whatever happens, if I get knocked out, I get knocked out because I provoked that. I provoked that. So, but it's not the same story for a woman, obviously, because a woman is not as strong as us physically. And it shows mentally in this case. So keep your hands to yourself and your possessions to yourself. That goes for both men and women. That's my Keep the Lie Live for tonight. Y'all, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. It's been a dope episode.